The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was the largest building in the known universe. It floated in space near the center of the galaxy, built from crystal and metal that shone like stars. Inside, representatives from 60 different alien species sat in their seats, waiting for the meeting to begin. High Chancellor Zorvax looked around the room with his 4 eyes. His species, the Polith, had led the council for thousands of years. They were old and wise, and other species trusted them to make fair decisions. Today was supposed to be a normal day. Trade agreements, border disputes, the usual boring business of running a galaxy, but today would not be normal at all. "We have received a strange request," Zorvax announced. His voice echoed through the hall. Every alien in the room turned to listen. A new species wants to join our council. This was not unusual by itself. New species sometimes asked to join. Most were rejected because they were too primitive or too dangerous. The council had strict rules about who could become a member. "They call themselves humans," Zorvax continued. "They come from a small planet called Earth, in the outer part of the galaxy." Ambassador Thesha of the Volante floated in her water bubble. Her species lived in oceans and could not survive in air. She made a bubbling sound that meant she was confused. "Earth. I have never heard of this place." "Few have," Zorvax replied. "It is located in a region we call the Orion Spur. Our survey ships rarely go there because it is too dangerous." "Dangerous how?" asked the Crothax delegate. His species looked like giant crabs with armored shells. They were warriors who respected strength above all else. "The entire region is filled with asteroid fields, unstable stars, and death worlds," Zorvax explained. "Earth itself is classified as a Category 7 death world." Laughter filled the hall. The Volante made wet chuckling sounds. The Mindari, who communicated through flashing lights, blinked in patterns that showed amusement. Even the serious Crothax made grinding noises that passed for laughter among their kind. "A Deathworld species wants to join the council," Thesha said between laughs. "That is the funniest thing I have heard in centuries." Everyone knew about Deathworlds. These were planets with terrible conditions that killed most life forms. Extreme gravity, poisonous air, dangerous weather, deadly animals. Most intelligent species came from garden worlds, where everything was peaceful and safe. Deathworlds sometimes produced simple creatures, but never civilizations advanced enough for space travel. "They must be confused," said the Mindari representative. "Perhaps they found our communication signals and did not understand what they meant." "Actually," Zorvax said, "they submitted their application through proper channels. They followed all our rules correctly. They are requesting a formal meeting to present their case." The laughter slowly died down. If these humans knew the proper procedures, perhaps they were not as primitive as everyone assumed. "Let them come," Thesha said, still smiling. "It has been a long time since we had entertainment at a council meeting." The vote was unanimous. Every species agreed to let the humans visit. Most expected a short, embarrassing meeting with confused aliens who had somehow built a basic spaceship. They would say no politely and send the humans home. Simple. 3 weeks later, the human ship arrived. It was small compared to council vessels. Only 500 meters long, covered in gray metal plates. The hull was marked with burns and scratches from traveling through space. The ship looked old and used, like it had survived many difficult journeys. The name on the side read "Hope of Tomorrow and the Human." Language Council observers watched as the ship docked. They expected primitive technology. What they saw surprised them. The ship was simple, yes, but everything worked perfectly. The humans clearly understood physics and engineering, even if their methods were different from council standards. 2 humans walked out of the ship. One was male, named Samuel Grant. He was tall, with dark brown skin and short gray hair. He looked old, but strong, like someone who had seen many things and survived them all. The other was female, named Linda Patterson. She had pale skin and red hair tied back tightly. Her eyes were sharp and intelligent, watching everything around her. They wore simple blue uniforms with golden badges. No weapons were visible, but they walked with confidence. These were not frightened primitives meeting advanced aliens for the first time. These were diplomats who knew exactly what they were doing. Samuel stepped forward and spoke clearly. The translation machines turned his words into languages every species could understand. On behalf of the people of Earth, we thank the Galactic Council for this meeting. We come in peace, hoping to find friends among the stars. Zorvax studied the humans carefully. They looked soft and weak. No claws, no armor, no visible natural weapons. Their bodies seemed fragile, easily broken. How had such creatures survived on a death world? "Welcome, humans," Zorvax said. "Before we discuss your request, Council rules say we must review your species file. This helps everyone understand who you are and where you come from." Of course, Samuel agreed. "We have nothing to hide." "Very well." Zorvax activated the central display. A giant hologram appeared in the middle of the hall. "Let us look at the data our survey ships collected about your world." The lights dimmed. The hologram showed a planet floating in space. Blue oceans. Green and brown land. White ice at the top and bottom. It looked almost beautiful from far away. Then the data appeared. Numbers and charts filled the display. Gravity measurements. Temperature ranges. Atmospheric readings. Weather patterns. Information about the millions of species living on the planet's surface. The laughter had stopped completely. As Zorvax read through the file, the mood in the chamber changed. What started as amusement turned to confusion. Confusion turned to disbelief. Disbelief turned to something close to fear. These humans had not just survived on their death world. They had conquered it. They had spread across every part of their planet, from frozen wastelands to burning deserts. They had faced every danger their world could throw at them, and won. And now they wanted to join the galactic community. Desha leaned forward in her water bubble. "High Chancellor, perhaps we should examine this file more carefully before making any decisions." "I agree," the Crothax delegate said. For the first time, there was no humor in his voice. "I want to know exactly what kind of species we are dealing with." Samuel Grant watched the aliens whispering to each other. He kept his face calm, but inside he was smiling. The council had expected weak primitives. They were about to learn that humans were anything but weak. "Please," Samuel said politely, "take all the time you need. We want you to understand us completely." Zorvax looked at the human male. For a moment, their eyes met. Zorvax saw something in those human eyes that made him uncomfortable. Not aggression, not fear. Something else: determination. Absolute, unshakable determination. "Continue the file," Zorvax ordered. "Show us everything about this planet Earth." The hologram changed, beginning a presentation that would last for hours. By the end, every species in the Galactic Council would understand why humans called their world a death world, and they would wonder how anything could survive there at all. A hologram of Earth rotated slowly in the center of the Great Hall. Every alien in the room stared at it. From far away, it looked like a peaceful planet. Blue waters, green forests, white clouds drifting across the surface. Some delegates thought it looked almost pleasant. Then Zorvax began reading the data. "Earth is the third planet from its star," he said. "It orbits once every 365 days. The planet is tilted on its axis by 23 degrees. Desha interrupted immediately. "Tilted? You mean the planet does not spin straight?" "Correct. This tilt causes what humans call seasons. Different parts of the planet receive different amounts of heat throughout the year. That would mean constant climate change," the Mindari representative said, his lights flashing with alarm. "The weather would never be stable." "It is not stable," Zorvax confirmed. "Earth experiences for different seasons. In some regions, temperatures change by 50 degrees or more between seasons." Shocked silence filled the chamber. Most council species lived on worlds where temperature never changed. The idea of regular dramatic climate shifts was terrifying. "Surface gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared," Zorvax continued. Desha made a sound of distress. Her species evolved in water, where gravity mattered less. On Earth, she would be crushed flat in minutes. Many other delegates shifted uncomfortably. Earth's gravity was nearly double what most species considered normal. The atmosphere is 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. With a surface pressure of 101 kilopascals, that pressure would rupture my breathing membranes, the Mindari said. How do humans survive it? Their bodies evolved to handle it, Zorvax explained. They breathe constantly, taking in air and extracting oxygen through organs called lungs. They do this automatically, even while sleeping. Even while sleeping? Yes. If they stop breathing for more than a few minutes, they die. So their bodies do it without conscious thought. Linda Patterson spoke up. We do not think about breathing. It just happens. Like your heart's beating or your cells dividing. The display changed to show Earth's geography. Vast blue oceans covered most of the planet. Continents of various colors spread across the remaining surface. Ice caps gleamed at the poles. Approximately 71% of Earth's surface is covered by water, Zorvax said. However, humans cannot drink most of this water. It contains dissolved salt that is poisonous to their bodies in large amounts. They evolved on a planet where most of the water will kill them? The Crothax delegate asked. Yes, Samuel Grant replied calmly. We adapted. We found fresh water sources. Rivers, lakes, underground wells. Later we learned to remove salt from ocean water. We call it desalination. Do you build machines to make your own water drinkable? We build machines for everything. It is what we do. The hologram changed again. This time, it showed Earth's weather patterns. The delegates watched as massive storms formed over the oceans. These storms were hundreds of kilometers wide, spinning like giant wheels of destruction. Humans call these hurricanes, Zorvax explained. They form regularly over warm ocean waters. Wind speeds can exceed 250 kilometers per hour. They destroy everything in their path. The display showed a hurricane hitting a coastal city. Buildings collapsed. Trees flew through the air. Walls of water crashed onto the shore, flooding everything. This happens regularly? Desha asked. Several times each year, Linda confirmed. Different oceans produce different storms. We have hurricanes, typhoons, cyclones. The names change, but the destruction is similar. How do you survive? We build stronger buildings. We develop warning systems to predict when storms will come. We evacuate to safer areas. And when the storm passes, we rebuild. You rebuild in the same places where storms destroyed everything? Sometimes. Humans are stubborn. The display showed more weather events. Tornadoes tearing across flatlands, throwing houses into the sky. Blizzards burying cities in meters of snow. Floods covering entire regions in brown water. Droughts turning farmland into dust. These events kill thousands of humans every year, Zorvax noted. Yet the species continues to thrive. Samuel nodded. Weather has always been our enemy. We learned to fight it. We cannot control nature completely, but we can predict it, prepare for it, and recover from it. And now, Zorvax said, we will examine Earth's other inhabitants. The hologram changed to show Earth's animals. The delegates watched in growing horror. First came the predators. Lions with golden fur and teeth designed to tear flesh. Tigers even larger, striped for camouflage in forests. Bears that stood 3 meters tall and could crush bones with their paws. Wolves that hunted in organized packs, working together to bring down prey larger than themselves. These creatures share Earth with humans? The Mindari asked. These are just the land predators, Linda said. Would you like to see what lives in our oceans? The display showed sharks with rows of razor teeth. Killer whales hunting in family groups. Giant squid with tentacles covered in hooks. Jellyfish whose sting caused agonizing pain. Your oceans are full of predators too? Our oceans are more dangerous than our land, Samuel explained. We are land creatures. Water is not our natural environment. Every time we enter the ocean, we are invaders in hostile territory. Yet you go there anyway. We have to. Resources, food, transportation. We learn to build ships and survive in waters that wanted to kill us. The display shifted to show smaller creatures. Venomous snakes whose bite caused death within hours. spiders with poison that liquefied internal organs, insects that spread diseases, killing millions throughout human history. Even your small creatures are deadly, Daisha said. Size does not equal danger on Earth, Linda replied. Some of our deadliest killers are too small too. See, bacteria, viruses, parasites, we spent thousands of years dying from diseases before we understood what caused them. You lived with invisible killers? We still do. We developed medicine to fight them. Vaccines to prevent infection. Antibiotics to kill bacteria. We built entire sciences around staying alive. The display showed a final image, a chart listing the number of species on Earth. The number was staggering. Over 8 million different forms of life, from microscopic organisms to giant whales. All of them competing for resources. All of them trying to survive. Humans are just one species among millions, Zorvax observed. Yet you became the dominant form of life on your planet. We did, Samuel agreed. Not because we were the strongest or fastest. We were not. But we were smart. We learned. We adapted. We refused to give up. You fought your way to the top of a Deathworld's food chain. Yes, and then we reached for the stars. The chamber fell completely silent. Every alien was reconsidering what they thought they knew about the small, soft creatures standing before them. These humans had not evolved on a garden world where life was easy and gentle. They had clawed their way up from the mud of a planet that tried to kill them every single day. Everything about their existence was a battle, and they had won. Zorvax looked at the human delegates with new respect. I think, he said slowly, we need to continue reviewing your file. There is clearly more to learn about your species. Samuel Grant smiled politely. We have only just begun, High Chancellor. The interesting parts are still ahead. Several delegates shuddered at those words. If what they had seen so far was not the interesting part, what horrors waited in the rest of the file? They were about to find out. Zorvax paused before continuing the presentation. He looked around the chamber at the nervous delegates. What they had seen so far was disturbing enough. The next section would be worse. We will now review human history, he announced. I must warn everyone that this material is difficult. Some delegates may find it deeply troubling. We have existed for millions of years, Thesha said. We have seen everything, perhaps Zorvax replied. But I doubt you have seen anything like this. The hologram changed. It showed early humans, primitive creatures, walking across grasslands. They had no claws, no fangs, no armor. They looked helpless compared to the predators around them. Humans achieved intelligence approximately 300,000 years ago, Zorvax explained. At first they were prey animals. Larger predators hunted them. They died in great numbers. The display showed early humans hiding in caves, clutching simple stone tools. They looked afraid. They looked weak. But humans learned, Zorvax continued. They discovered how to make weapons from stone and wood. They learned to use fire. The hologram showed humans gathered around flames. The fire kept predators away. It cooked food, making it easier to digest. It provided warmth during cold nights. Fire changed everything, Samuel Grant said. With fire, we were no longer helpless prey. We became hunters. The display showed humans working together to bring down large animals. Mammoths, giant bison. Creatures many times their size fell to organize groups of humans with spears. They learned to cooperate, the Crothax delegate observed. Hunters working together. Yes. Zorvax agreed. Humans are social creatures. Their strength comes from working in groups. A single human is easy to kill. A group of humans is dangerous. The hologram jumped forward in time. Villages appeared, then cities. Pyramids rose from desert sands. Great walls stretched across continents. Ships sailed across oceans. Approximately 10,000 years ago, humans developed agriculture, Zorvax explained. They learned to grow food instead of hunting for it. This allowed them to build permanent settlements. Civilizations formed. Impressive progress, the Mindari said. They advanced quickly. They did. But with civilization came something else. Zorvax paused. War. The display changed to show battles. Ancient armies clashing with swords and spears, siege weapons breaking through city walls, bodies lying in fields after combat. Humans began fighting each other, Zorvax said. Not just for survival, but for resources. For territory. For power? For ideas? They fight their own species, Leisha asked. Constantly, Linda Patterson replied. Throughout our entire history, we have never known a time without war somewhere on our planet. The hologram showed war after war. Roman legions marching across Europe, Mongol horsemen conquering vast territories, medieval knights in armor, colonial armies with muskets and cannons. Each generation developed better weapons, Zorvax observed. Humans are remarkably creative when it comes to killing each other. We are remarkably creative at everything, Samuel said. Unfortunately, that includes destruction. The display jumped to more recent history. The First World War appeared, trenches stretching across continents, poison gas, machine guns, tanks, aircraft dropping bombs on cities. This was their first global conflict, Zorvax explained. Approximately 20 million humans died. Soldiers and civilians alike. 20 million? The number hung in the air. Some delegates had species with total populations smaller than that. The war ended, Zorvax continued. But peace did not last. 20 years later, another war began. Second World War appeared on the display. Larger armies. More powerful weapons? Entire cities destroyed by bombing. Mass killings of innocent people. This conflict killed approximately 70 million humans, Zorvax said. Possibly more. Records from that time are incomplete. 70 million. The Crothax delegate said. In a single war. Yes. Why? What were they fighting for? Territory, Samuel answered. Resources. Ideology. Revenge. Fear. The reasons were complicated. The results were simple. Massive death on a scale we had never seen before. The display showed the aftermath. Ruined cities. Refugees walking through destroyed landscapes. Graves stretching to the horizon. And then, Zorvax said quietly, humans developed nuclear weapons. The hologram showed a mushroom cloud rising over a destroyed city. The delegates stared in silence. This was the city of Hiroshima, Zorvax explained. On August 6, 1945, humans dropped an atomic bomb on it. The explosion killed approximately 80,000 people instantly. More died later from injuries and radiation. It created a weapon that destroys entire cities. Yes, and they used it twice. The display showed a second mushroom cloud over Nagasaki. 3 days after the first bomb, another city destroyed. Another 80,000 dead. These weapons ended their second global war, Zorvax said. The enemy surrendered rather than face more destruction. A terrible weapon used for peace, Leisha murmured. There is dark logic in that. The logic gets darker, Linda said. After the war ended, we did not destroy these weapons. We built more. The display showed nuclear arsenals growing. Thousands of bombs, missiles that could travel across continents, submarines hiding in oceans, ready to launch at any moment. At the peak, Samuel said, humanity possessed enough nuclear weapons to destroy our entire planet several times over. Why? The Mindar representative asked. Why build so many? Fear, Samuel replied simply. 2 major powers on Earth both had these weapons. Neither trusted the other. Each side built more bombs to make sure they could destroy the enemy completely, even if attacked first. You built doomsday arsenals because you feared each other. Yes. We called it mutually assured destruction. Both sides knew that any nuclear war would end both civilizations. So neither side started one. You prevented war through the threat of total annihilation. It worked. For over 70 years, the major powers avoided direct conflict. The fear of extinction kept everyone peaceful. The chamber fell silent. Every alien was trying to understand the strange logic of human survival. They had built weapons capable of ending their species. They had pointed those weapons at each other, and somehow that had kept them alive. "You are insane," Desha said finally. "Possibly," Samuel agreed. "But we are alive. Our methods are not pretty, but they work." The display continued. It showed the Cold War ending, the Soviet Union collapsing, new conflicts emerging in different parts of the world, terrorism, regional wars, ethnic violence. "Humans have never stopped fighting," Zorvax observed. "Even now, there are conflicts on their planet." "There are always conflicts," Linda admitted. "But there are also efforts to stop them. Peace treaties, international organizations, rules of war designed to limit suffering, rules of war. Yes, agreements about what weapons can be used, how prisoners must be treated, which targets are acceptable. Even in war, we try to maintain some humanity. We regulate how you kill each other. We try to. It does not always work, but we try." The display showed the United Nations, peacekeeping forces, humanitarian missions, efforts to help after disasters and conflicts. "Humans are capable of great destruction," Samuel said, "but we are also capable of great compassion. We choose which path to follow. Sometimes we choose poorly. Sometimes we choose well, and you want to join our council?" Desha asked. "Bring your wars and weapons to the stars?" "We want to find another way," Samuel replied. "We have fought each other for thousands of years. We are tired of it. When we discovered we were not alone in the universe, we saw a chance for something better. You think joining us will change your nature?" "No, our nature does not change. But we can choose what to do with it. We can fight or we can build. We can destroy or we can create. Give us a reason to create, and that is what we will do." Zorvax considered these words carefully. The humans were violent, yes, but they were also adaptable. They recognized their flaws and tried to overcome them. Perhaps that was worth something. "We will continue with the file," Zorvax decided. "There is still more to learn about human biology. Their physical capabilities may help us understand them better. Or frighten you more," Linda said with a slight smile, looking at the data still to come. Zorvax suspected she was right. The hologram changed to show a detailed image of a human body. Bones, muscles, organs, and nerves were all visible, rotating slowly in the center of the chamber. "We will now examine human biology," Zorvax announced. "How their bodies work, and what makes them so effective at survival." The delegates leaned forward with interest. After learning about human history and their deadly planet, everyone wanted to understand how such fragile-looking creatures had managed to survive at all. "Humans have an internal skeleton made of bone," Zorvax began. "This provides structure and protection for vital organs while allowing flexibility and movement." "Their bones look thin," the Crothax delegate observed. His species had thick external shells that protected them from damage. They would break easily. "They do break," Samuel Grant admitted. "Humans break bones regularly. Falls, accidents, fights. It happens. Then how do you survive?" "Our bones heal. Give a broken bone a few weeks, and it repairs itself. Sometimes it grows back stronger than before." The delegates exchanged surprised looks. Self-repairing skeletal structure was rare in the galaxy. "This healing ability extends to most human tissues," Zorvax confirmed. "Cut human skin, and it closes within days. Damage muscle, and it rebuilds. Even some internal organs can recover from injury." "You repair yourselves?" the Mindari asked. "Slowly, but yes," Linda Patterson replied. "Our bodies are constantly fixing damage. Old cells die. New cells grow. Given enough time and proper conditions, humans can recover from remarkable injuries." The display showed medical images. Humans who had survived terrible accidents. Broken limbs that had healed. Burns that had faded. Scars from wounds that should have been fatal. "These humans lived?" Desha asked, staring at images of mangled bodies. "They did. Modern medicine helps, of course. But even without it, humans survived injuries that would kill most species." "What about more serious damage?" the Crothax asked. Loss of limbs. Internal organ failure. We adapt, Samuel said simply. Humans have lived full lives missing arms, legs, eyes. We learn to function with what we have left. And when our own bodies fail us, we build replacements. The display showed prosthetic limbs, artificial hands that could grip and move, mechanical legs that allowed people to walk again, implants that restored hearing and helped damaged hearts pump blood. You replace parts of yourselves with machines when necessary. We have also learned to transplant organs from one human to another. A healthy heart from someone who died can save someone who would otherwise die. You put dead people's organs into living people? Yes, it saves thousands of lives every year. The chamber fell silent. This was beyond what most species considered possible or acceptable. Humans treated their bodies like machines that could be repaired, upgraded, or rebuilt. Zorvax moved to the next section. Human physical capabilities show interesting adaptations for their Deathworld environment. The display showed images of humans running, first in short sprints, then over longer distances. Humans are not the fastest creatures on their planet, Zorvax explained. Many animals can outrun them in short races. However, humans have a unique ability called persistence hunting. What is that? The Mindary asked. Humans can run for hours without stopping. They chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion. The animal may be faster, but the human keeps coming. Eventually, the prey cannot run anymore. They hunt by refusing to stop. Yes, their bodies are designed for endurance. They cool themselves by releasing water through their skin, a process called sweating. This allows them to remain active when other animals must rest. Linda nodded. Most predators overheat quickly during extended activity. They have to stop or die. Humans just keep moving. We are not fast, but we are relentless. Relentless, the Crothax repeated. I understand this word well. My species respects endurance. Humans have demonstrated remarkable endurance in many situations, Zorvax continued. The record for continuous activity without sleep is approximately 11 standard days. 11 days without sleeping. It is not recommended, Samuel said, but it is possible. Humans can push through exhaustion when survival demands it. Our bodies produce chemicals that override fatigue and pain. You can ignore pain. When necessary, we call it adrenaline. In moments of danger, our bodies release chemicals that make us stronger, faster, and more resistant to pain. People have survived terrible injuries because adrenaline kept them moving. The display showed examples. Soldiers continuing to fight despite wounds. Parents lifting heavy objects to save trapped children. Athletes completing races on broken bones. Your own bodies drug you for better performance? Thesha asked. Automatically. We do not control it consciously. Our bodies decide when we need the boost and provide it. That is terrifying. That is survival. Zorvax moved on. Human senses are moderately developed compared to other species. Their eyesight, hearing, and smell are adequate but not exceptional. Then how did they become such effective hunters? The Mindary asked. Their brains, Zorvax replied. The display showed a human brain, neural pathways lighting up with activity. Human brains are remarkably complex. They excel at pattern recognition, problem solving, and planning. We are tool users, Samuel explained. Our senses may not be the best, but our minds compensate. We build devices that let us see farther, hear better, detect things invisible to our natural senses. You enhance yourselves with technology? Constantly. Glasses to improve vision. Hearing aids for damaged ears. Machines that can see heat, detect radiation, analyze chemicals. Whatever we lack naturally, we build artificially. Your mental capabilities? Thesha asked. The file mentioned something called determination. Zorvax nodded slowly. This is perhaps the most significant human trait. Determination, stubbornness, the refusal to accept failure. When humans decide to do something, Linda said, they do not give up icily. Obstacles make us try harder. Being told something is impossible makes us want to prove otherwise. That sounds like mental illness, the Mindari observed.
Apps.
But it explains how we survived our death world, how we fought predators bigger and stronger than us, how we crossed oceans and deserts that should have killed us, how we reached for the stars. The display showed images of human achievements driven by determination, climbing the highest mountains despite deadly conditions, diving to the deepest parts of the ocean despite crushing pressure, traveling across frozen wastelands where temperatures killed in minutes. Humans do these things for no practical reason, Zorvax noted. They do them simply to prove they can. We get bored, Samuel admitted. And we hate being told no. Show a human something impossible, and someone will try to do it anyway. Your species is driven by spite. Sometimes. Also, curiosity, pride. The desire to see what lies beyond the next horizon. We are never satisfied with what we have. We always want more. The Crothax delegate made a sound of appreciation. I understand now why your species survived. You are not just strong or smart, you refuse to die. That is accurate, Linda agreed. Humans are difficult to kill. And even when you succeed, more of us keep coming. We do not surrender. We do not retreat. We adapt, we learn, and we overcome. What happens when you face something you cannot overcome? Samuel smiled slightly. That has not happened yet. We will let you know if it does. The chamber was quiet. Every delegate was reconsidering what they thought they knew about humans. These soft, fragile-looking creatures were anything but weak. They were survivors. Built by evolution and sharpened by constant struggle, they were exactly what a death world would create. And now they wanted to join the galactic community. Zorvax looked at the human delegates with something close to respect. I believe we have seen enough of your file. The council must now decide how to respond to your request for membership. Take your time, Samuel said. We have waited thousands of years to reach the stars. We can wait a little longer for your answer, though we would prefer not to wait too long, Linda added. Humans are not known for patience. Zorvax understood the message beneath her words. The humans were asking politely now, but they would not ask forever. The council needed to decide what kind of relationship they wanted with this remarkable, terrifying species. The vote would happen soon. High Chancellor Zorvax called for a break in the session. The delegates needed time to think about everything they had learned. Private discussions began immediately in the smaller chambers surrounding the Great Hall. The Shay gathered with representatives from several other species in a meeting room. Her water bubble floated near the ceiling as she spoke. We cannot allow them into the council, she argued. You saw their file? They are the most violent species we have ever encountered. Their entire history is war-aft. A war. They build weapons capable of destroying planets. They build weapons capable of destroying themselves, the Mindari representative corrected. That shows restraint. They could have used those weapons many times, but chose not to. Restraint. They killed 70 million of their own people in a single conflict. And then they stopped. They learned. They have not fought another global war since. The Crothax delegate entered the discussion. His massive armored form dominated the small room. I've listened to your arguments. Both have merit. But I see something you are missing. What is that? Desha asked. These humans are not going away. They have reached space. They will continue to expand, with or without our approval. The question is not whether we want them in the galaxy. They are already here. The question is whether we want them as partners or as strangers, or as enemies, the Mindari added quietly. Yes, or as enemies. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what the Crothax was saying. Humanity could not be ignored. They were too determined, too adaptable, too numerous. Rejecting them would not make them disappear. What do you suggest? Desha finally asked. Accept them carefully with conditions and monitoring. Teach them our ways. Learn from their strengths. Make them part of our community before they decide to build their own. You think they would do that? I think they would try, and based on what I have seen, they might succeed. In another chamber, Zorvax met privately with his advisors. The Poloth had led the council for millennia. They prided themselves on wisdom and long-term thinking. "This is unprecedented," one advisor said. "No Deathworld species has ever achieved what the humans have achieved. Our models did not predict this. Our models were wrong," Zorvax replied. "We assumed Deathworlds produced only primitive life. We did not consider that the challenges of such worlds might accelerate development instead of preventing it. What do you recommend, High Chancellor?" Zorvax considered carefully. The humans were dangerous, yes, but they were also impressive. Their technology was crude compared to Council standards, but it worked. Their society was chaotic, but it produced remarkable individuals. Their history was violent, but they had survived it. "I recommend acceptance," Zorvax said finally. "Provisional membership with strict oversight. We cannot stop them from reaching the stars. We can only choose whether to guide them or compete with them. And if they become a threat, then we will deal with that threat when it comes. But I do not think it will come. The humans are not looking for enemies. They are looking for something they have never had. Neighbors, allies, a community beyond their own world. They have been alone for their entire existence, fighting everything around them. Now they have discovered they are not alone. They want to belong. You believe them? I believe they mean what they say. Whether they can live up to their intentions remains to be seen. But they deserve the chance to try." Council reconvened 3 hours later. The Great Hall was completely full. Word had spread about the human petition. Observers from species that normally ignored council meetings had come to watch. Zorvax called for order. "The council has examined the human file in detail. We have discussed their history, their biology, their capabilities, and their intentions. The time has come to vote." Samuel Grant stood at attention. Linda Patterson stood beside him. Both kept their faces carefully neutral, hiding whatever nervousness they felt. "Before we vote," Zorvax continued, "I would ask the human delegates one final question." "Ask," Samuel replied. "Our species has achieved much in a short time. You have survived conditions that would destroy most civilizations. You have built weapons capable of ending your own existence. Yet you claim to seek friendship and cooperation." Zorvax paused. "Why should we believe you?" Samuel took a deep breath. This was the moment that mattered. Everything depended on what he said next. "Because we are tired," he said simply. "We have spent our entire existence fighting. Fighting our planet. Fighting predators. Fighting diseases. Fighting each other. We have seen what happens when we turn all our energy toward destruction. We nearly ended ourselves more than once." Step forward, addressing not just Zorvax, but every delegate in the chamber. "We came here because we believe there has to be something more. Something beyond the next war, the next disaster, the next extinction event. You have built a community of species that cooperates instead of competes, that works together instead of fighting for dominance. That is what we want." Linda stepped forward to stand beside him. "We are not asking you to trust us completely. Trust is earned, not given. We are asking for a chance. A chance to prove that humans can be more than our worst moments. And if we refuse," Desha asked. "Then we will go home," Samuel said. "We will continue reaching for the stars on our own. We have been alone before. We can survive being alone again. Is that a threat? No. It is a fact. Humanity does not give up. Ever. You can work with us, or you can stand aside. But you cannot stop us." The chamber fell silent. Samuel's words hung in the air, not aggressive, but absolutely confident. This was not a species that would accept rejection quietly. Zorvax nodded slowly. "The council will now vote. All delegates in favor of granting provisional membership to humanity?" Lights began appearing around the chamber as species registered their votes. Green for yes. Red for no. Yellow for abstain. Samuel watched the lights appear. His heart was beating faster than he wanted to admit. Beside him, Linda kept her breathing steady, waiting. The vote took several minutes. Some delegates decided quickly. Others hesitated before making their choice. The count grew slowly. When it was finished, Zorvax announced the result. By a vote of 41 to 21, with 2 abstentions, The petition is approved. Relief flooded through Samuel. He kept his face calm, but inside he was celebrating. They had done it. Against all odds, they had talked their way into the galaxy's most exclusive club. Humanity is hereby granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council, Zorvax continued. This membership is subject to a probationary period of 100 standard cycles. During this time, human activities will be monitored. Certain restrictions will apply to human expansion and military development. We accept these conditions, Samuel said formally. On behalf of the people of Earth, we thank the Council for this opportunity. Do not thank us yet, Zorvax replied. You have much to prove. Not everyone voted in your favor. Many still doubt your intentions. Then we will prove them wrong, Linda said, one day at a time. As the delegates filed out of the chamber, the Shay approached the human representatives. Her tendrils curled in patterns that indicated mixed emotions. I voted against you, she said directly. We assumed some would, Samuel replied. I want you to understand why. My species has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. We have seen empires rise and fall. We have watched civilizations destroy themselves. In all that time, we have never encountered anything quite like humanity. Is that bad? Linda asked. I do not know yet. That uncertainty is exactly what worries me. The Sh's tendrils shifted. You speak of peace and cooperation, but your file tells a different story. A story of relentless expansion, constant adaptation, and refusal to accept defeat. Every obstacle you have faced, you have overcome. Every enemy you have encountered, you have either destroyed or absorbed. You've changed, Samuel said. We are trying to be better. Perhaps you simply have not yet decided whether we are obstacles. They should turn to leave, then paused. I will be watching your species closely, human. I suggest you give me reasons to change my vote. She departed, leaving the humans alone in the emptying chamber. Cheerful, Linda observed. Honest, Samuel replied. I respect that more than polite lies. Hey. They made their way back to their ship. The hope of tomorrow waited in its docking bay, looking small and primitive compared to the sleek vessels around it. A reminder of how far humanity still had to go, Samuel sent a message to Earth. 2 simple words that would change human history forever. We're in. Back on Earth, the news spread across the planet. Celebrations erupted in cities on every continent. Scientists began planning for expanded space exploration. Diplomats prepared for a new era of interstellar relations. Ordinary people looked up at the night sky and saw not cold, distant stars, but neighbors waiting to be met. In the halls of the Galactic Council, analysts began updating their projections. The galaxy had a new member, a species forged in fire and hardened by struggle, a species that refused to quit. The Deathworlders had arrived, and they were just getting started.